I'm fired up, dude, this week, man.
You're fired up. You know what?
I don't even have my headphones in right
I started our episode day off with like some bad news, everybody, and that is Kyle Cooler.
Oh yeah,
smells like a dirty whore.
Oh, I thought you were about to say has passed.
No, Kyle Cooler's fine.
Oh,
he just needs a bath.
All right, well.
Here's what happened. What happened to you?
Huh? It's just a sinkhole. Don't worry about it.
It should be fine.
It's a Florida thing.
Yeah, it's okay. All right. Well, they happen in Harrisburg here, too.
Huh?
Quite a bit.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Because of fracking?
Yeah, probably because of fracking. Nice going, frackers.
You mother frackers.
Here's what happened.
Yeah.
We recorded last week, and I had beers in Kyle Cooler.
Right.
And I put the empties out as a courtesy to you.
Yeah.
I don't throw my empties in your recycling or your trash. I put them back in the cooler.
I appreciate that. I don't mind it at all. That's why we make the recycling bin very prevalent.
No,
very,
absolutely.
Available to people.
Yeah.
Guests, anybody that comes by. We also offer a lot of canned beverages.
There's nothing there. It's just like space on the floor where you throw your empties.
The Georges want to keep a small footprint.
Yeah.
As small as possible, except for a lot of methane coming out of here.
Yeah, a lot of methane.
A lot of methane.
Yeah, I put the empties in the cooler, and I put Kyle Cooler in my trunk,
right,
as I always do, and then I drove home, and then I forgot about it until today. When we get ready to record again, I'm going to throw some beers in Kyle Cooler, and I opened him up, and he's not smelling so good. And I was like, "Oh, Kyle!
Oh dear,
you dirty boy!"
Did you open it in the trunk?
I did, and that was a mistake because then my
yeah.
car stunk like that too. So if you've left your empties in a warm, cooler in the back of your car, you know what I'm talking about.
That's awful. So where do you normally keep Kyle Cooler?
In the garage.
Okay.
Next to the fridge.
So where was what step did we miss here?
I didn't take him out of my trunk.
Well, yeah. Jeff, hey.
Yeah.
We figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean like where normally in your routine,
yeah.
Where was like cuz normally you would take that out.
Usually
you don't miss a step here.
Yeah, usually I'm very responsible. So I'll take Kyle Cooler out when I get home.
Right.
I throw the empties out and I keep him open so that he dries out and keeps him smelling fresh.
Yeah. Keep him fresh.
Yeah, right. And then if I'm going on a skate trip, like if I'm going to a spot or whatever, I'll usually, but I didn't go anywhere except for I only skated outside front.
That's where we missed it.
Since then. So,
and the beers are cool in the fridge.
And I have another story for you guys.
Oh, no.
More bad news.
More bad news.
This is really sad news, actually.
Oh dear.
So I didn't go to any spots when I skated this week, which was fine. Like I've been really focused on like just really cracking down on specific tricks and just like doing them over and over and over again. So just flat ground.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It's good practice. Anyway, been having a blast. But okay, I think I've talked about this before, and that is. Just so everybody knows, don't worry too much. Kyle will be back next week. He'll be fine.
I did notice to drown your sorrows. You did buy a 24-pack.
No, it's a 30 pack.
Cube?
It's a 30 pack.
Oh, we got a 30-pack cube.
Yeah, of Old Milwaukee.
Old Milwaukee.
Yeah, and I'm going to drink 29 of them here today.
In respect to keep them cool, to keep him cool.
Yeah.
In honor of Kyle,
because I'm getting heated.
So what's the other sad news?
Here's the thing, and I think I might have mentioned this before, but maybe not on the podcast. Is that my wife built me a 6-foot mani pad and playbox for skateboarding.
I don't think you did mention this.
Okay,
no.
She built it for me. She built it for me last summer,
or
maybe the summer before. I can't remember which. But she built it for me, and I mean, it's got a ledge on it, so I can do grinds and slides on it. It's got a mani pad, so you can ollie on and off of it, and manual and shit.
She made that for you?
Yeah, she made it for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's totally dope.
That's fucking great.
Yeah,
that's what a great, practical, heartfelt Jesus Christ, heart fart gift.
It was a very, very it was a very thoughtful gift.
Wow.
And she made it for me. My wife builds all the shit in my house. So like furniture, shelving, like she builds all that stuff. And she's really good at it. And she built this for me, and I've been in love with it ever since. There's rarely, I skate it almost every day.
Yeah.
Okay. When it's not going to rain, I leave it outside. Okay. It fits about like what a car parking spot would be outside my house.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not in the way. I don't put it in the middle of the street or anything. It's right up against the curb.
Right.
And because when I hit it for like slides and grinds and stuff, it pushes it anyway. So it's right up against the curb. And
it's almost like a basketball hoop.
Yeah, it would be similar to having a basketball hoop
it's
outside.
Like it doesn't take up a lot of space.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot of space. You can see it.
But you get a lot of use out of it.
You get a lot of use out of it. And if it's not going to rain, I leave it out there because it's heavy.
Yeah.
So I don't have to like drag it in and out of the garage. So, anyway, yesterday, the day before, it was the day before. Okay, so this was Monday. I'm in a fucking Zoom call for work, and I get my wife calls, and I'm like, oh, she just left, and I'm like, uh-oh. So I mute it, and then I say, is this an emergency? She doesn't respond. Get off my Zoom call, and I call her back. I'm like, hey, what's up? Is everything okay? She's like, someone destroyed the Playbox. And I was like, what?
What the fuck?
Here's what happened. The Amazon guy, delivery guy, ran into it.
Jeff Bezos.
Fucking Jeff Bezos ran into my Playbox.
Bezos.
He annihilated it. He ran into it, and then they picked it up and just threw it in my yard, and then drove off.
No note?
No, nothing.
Do you have a Ring or anything? Do you have like one of those?
I do have a Ring doorbell, and it didn't catch it.
So damn you, Bezos!
I don't know for sure that it was Bezos, but my wife said she's
Bezos.
like 90% sure it was him.
And like, how bummed out is she?
Yeah, she's bummed.
She fucking made the thing.
Yeah, she's bummed.
She loves you.
Yeah.
She knows you loved it. Like,
And
this is like a triple threat with her.
Yeah, because every time I ride that thing, it's like riding her. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
now. Come on. This is a family show, motherfucker.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to get you, Bezos.
That's how you get a family, though. What is it called again? A Playbox?
Yeah, it's a Playbox. Yeah, or a manual pad.
Insert pun here.
Mani pad. Yeah, and it had, like I said, it had all these features that she built into it for me, and it was just this expression of love, and I fucking rode that thing every day, man. I love it. And it got destroyed.
That's a fucking
and
Jesus
it can be rebuilt,
Christ.
but it's just not the same. You know what I mean?
There's a memory tied to it. Like when somebody considers you in particular, and they're like, we made this particular thing for you. Like I've had toys or like gifts that I've gotten that are like, oh my god, this nailed it. You fucking Dom got me an art. Like a painting, an art.
She get you an art?
She got me an art. It was pretty.
I love it.
She got me an art. My brain legitimately just said, my wife got me an art. Dominique got me a painting. She got a painting commissioned in my honor, in my visage even. There's a picture of me and Clopoke that I love, of Chloe kind of like cuddling me or whatever. It's actually right over on the wall on that side.
Oh,
I'll probably
okay.
Put it in the episode here. Yeah. But she had a friend of her. She sent a friend of hers that she knows that paints.
Yeah.
Paint it. Like this was legitimately, when I thought of wonderful, heartfelt gifts that I've gotten, that is like one of those ones like, oh man.
Yeah.
Because she knows I love painting. I respect painting. I finally have given up on the idea of me ever painting, because the fact that I just haven't done it.
Okay, right.
It's not
and you're
illegal.
not going to. Right.
I can just go do it, and I keep saying, I really want to paint. I'm like, I can do it right now.
You could do it right now if you want to, but you won't.
Yep. So I just,
okay.
I respect painting as an art form. It's one of my favorite arts besides music or martial. And
comedy.
And comedy. Oh yeah, that too.
I mean, so it's like, it's there.
Performing.
It's in the top 10.
Right. I love performing, but but painting is like a thing. So it's got cats, painting. It's practical because it's also a thing we can hang up.
Of
and
course.
It's me.
Yeah.
So and she knows how narcissistic I am.
And then fucking Bezos ran over your cat.
Yeah. And then if that motherfucker came in here and pissed on that or tore it or set it on fire or something like that, we'd have some fucking problems here, Baze.
Yeah.
But I'm in your honor. I'm on your team.
Well,
Team
thanks,
Beck. I'm banning Amazon
it's
until they turn back time. We know you can do it.
You can, yeah.
If Cher can do it, you can do it.
Hey, look, when I was out in Florida, man, I saw his Blue Origin. I saw his facility, his time travel rocket facility.
Exactly.
I know it's in there.
And the penis-shaped rocket that he's taking up all those people.
I didn't get to see the penile rocket, but
it's there. It's there.
I figured it was
ready to insert the orbit or in the.
It was ready to
atmosphere.
penetrate the atmosphere.
Ugh. But that's a fucking bummer week, dude.
Yeah, dude, it was a rough one, man. Because again, like, and that's it. I wasn't the only one that uses. My kids skate on it too.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, you just like somebody had to destroy my fucking fun. And it was right outside my house.
Yeah.
Like all you have to say is I don't like skateboarders. All right,
Yeah.
it's fine. I'm used to that.
Yeah, or sorry, like, hey, like it does.
You have to destroy my shit,
Right. I mean, with all due respect, I don't mean this as an insult, but it probably doesn't look like super duper expensive, right? It's like plywood, or it's got things on it.
No, it
obviously.
doesn't look expensive. No, it's
like it's
made out of wood.
It's handmade.
Yeah.
So like you can probably go like, oh my God, there's probably some connection to this. You
It
know
doesn't
what I mean?
fucking matter. Look, if you ran into
It
something,
doesn't look like a box spring or
right,
something.
right.
You know what I mean?
If somebody had their basketball hoop out there and you hit it
Exactly.
and knocked it over
Yeah,
and
that's
shattered
property.
it was fiberglass, whatever,
Right.
not a big deal, but or you bent the rim or something like that, would you just drive off?
Well,
of course
yeah, I would.
you would.
But I work for Amazon.
Right. So,
you
and
know.
that's policy.
Yeah, this episode is not brought to you by Amazon.
It is not.
I'm gonna cancel Prime. I'm gonna fucking
Boycott that shit. There's nothing good on it anyway.
Yeah, there really
Fuck
isn't.
'em.
Actually, I've already watched everything.
And
Yeah.
now get out there and shop local. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, yeah,
Yeah.
win-win.
It's a win-win. We need it. We need it, folks.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, this brings us closer to our main topic today. Speaking of hobbies
Yeah,
and shit that we do, what we wanted to talk about today was being careful not to take jujitsu too seriously.
yeah.
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 We've done an episode in the past called "Don't Drink the Kool-Aid," and that was like, don't fall for the fact that like you're doing this martial art and it's this mystical thing where you feel like you're doing the greatest martial art and that there's no other martial art after this because and that's true to a
Yes.
degree.
Yeah, yeah.
But just but also the "Don't Drink the Kool-Aid" episode was also about like there's other styles of jiu-jitsu and other gyms, and so all that stuff's cool that you're like you have your your loyalty to your team and everything, but it's a don't follow it like a cult.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's not a thing where it's not completely don't make it your complete and total identity.
Right. So, and today what I want to talk about though is that like it's very, very common for people who've actively been participating in jiu-jitsu for a long time or who have just started, which is more common, especially in those first couple of years, where it becomes this obsession.
Yeah.
Where you are in it now and everything is jiu-jitsu. You buy the fucking t-shirts, you do nothing but watch jiu-jitsu video, you're obsessed with it. And it's cool that like you're in that like the jiu-jitsu bug bit you, right? But it's also important to remember that like this is a martial art. And if you are now an artist, which you are because you're a martial artist, so you're now an artist, the key to being a well-rounded artist is don't forget about all the other things that make you you.
Right.
Right? You're
Right.
not just... So, and here's what's the interesting part about when you become obsessed with jiu-jitsu is that chances are pretty good, most of us, and this, of course, the people that do this for a living, this doesn't pertain to, okay? That's different. That's you making a living out of jiu-jitsu. But for everybody else, everybody that's been there, that's coming and is going, has a job and a career and other interests that they had before they started jiu-jitsu. And when you start jiu-jitsu and you could become and the bug bites you, you tend to forget about all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I don't really see it happen with a lot of other things. And I have like an obsessive personality, so I get really I love a lot of different things. But like jiu-jitsu is one of the weird ones where you're just like, man, I just think about it all the time. I think about jiu-jitsu. I think about how I'm going to improve my game. I think about like my next opponent or like somebody I have a rivalry with or whatever. I mean, my next gi, next position. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. It's one of those things that I have a problem with. I kind of started to struggle with a little bit, but I don't think ever. I think I have done the work, the self-assessment and the kind of like I know how to ramp down if I'm overdoing it. Like I know when I should be taking a break and stuff like that from stand-up comedy, because when I started doing stand-up, it was a lot of the same thing. Where if you let it become your identity, you can get lost, because if you're only performing comedy and not experiencing things, that's why I learned you have to go out and actually live life, so you have stuff to talk about.
So you become
stage.
so you're a good comedian, right?
Otherwise, you're just sleeping during the day and saving your energy for the show that night to perform the same material you've had from the experiences that you were having.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right.
It's not saying you don't experience things, but then all your jokes become. I hear it a lot from comics about saying like, all of a sudden, all my jokes became about flying, or all my jokes became about travel or hotels or something like that, because that's all I was doing. So it's still relatable, but it's also like is that really all I'm experiencing now?
Right.
Like, I need to go to like. I haven't gone to a theme park in like how long? I haven't gone to the movies in this long,
Sure.
Or I haven't had a dinner with friends or taken a vacation, stuff like that. Like,
exactly.
Because you're doing what you love, it kind of becomes a trap, and that's what we talk about. Like a lot of times with trying to like maintain and kind of keep the small business of me as Baby Mermaid Productions, performer, and all this other stuff. Like when to take time off from that.
Sure.
Because I am legitimately doing what I love, so I love working.
Yeah.
Because my work is this stuff. So,
right.
So when I take time off, I'm like, well, I'm not doing the thing I really love to do. but
Sure.
It's always good to take a break whenever you feel overwhelmed.
I think so. And some of that you're talking about is like work-life balance, right?
Yeah.
Because that's your career path as well. And what I'm talking about specifically in this case is just remember that it's your fucking hobby.
Yeah. Okay,
This
right.
isn't a work-life balance situation as such, but it can feel like that because all of a sudden you're like, I've got to put the time in. If I want to, if I want to make it to the next belt rank, or I want to be considered, at the top of my heap in my belt rank, I've got to put the time in. I've got to, and you do, and you will. The thing is that it's okay for you to recognize that this is a hobby, and it's okay. And when we say take a break, I don't mean that you leave the mat, although.
Yeah,
you can if you're like, hey, I need to take a couple days off. Like, yeah, no fucking problem. But what I also mean though is that like when you're at the academy, it doesn't always have to be, all firing on all cylinders every day.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I got.
And if you're feeling kind of just like, hey, like things, because this is where things start to collapse in jiu-jitsu is especially when you get to these these plateaus in your training where things were working, but other people are catching up to you, or they're figuring out your game, and then your A game shit gets shut down a lot, and you're starting to feel like I suck at jiu-jitsu, and you don't suck at jiu-jitsu. It's that those people are getting better, and instead of just like pushing it till you're going to fry your own brain out, is to say like those people are getting better and they're learning something from you. It was kind of like, it kind of goes back to our last episode about having this crew, right? Mm-hmm. Remember that even on remember this, jiu-jitsu practitioners, even at your worst, you're still better than most.
Yeah,
right.
Early on in comedy, a lot of times it is compared to a hobby. A lot of people. That's where there's at some point there is a separation where the people that I think are truly pursuing it as a career and the people that are hobbyists like split off. But at the beginning, it really has this thing of like, no matter what, if I'm pursuing a career or a hobby, I need to take a night off, or I need to take a week off, or I need to take a vacation.
Yeah, nothing's gonna go away because you took a little bit of time off.
Yeah, the thing is still gonna be. You're still gonna love it. You know what I mean? You're
hopefully. That's the point, though, right?
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about, because we're getting to the point where like it stops becoming like a fun hobby and it starts becoming more like a job,
right,
or an obligation.
Yeah,
like I have to do this thing, or I'm going to fall so far behind, and I'm going to suck at this, and everyone's going to beat the shit out of me, or know that I was off, or going to give me a grief because I was off, or whatever.
Right.
And so you decide not to do those things, even though your brain and your body's telling you need to chill out.
Right. Yeah.
And so I just wanted to talk about this today because, like, just remember that, like, it takes a long time to acquire, a high level of proficiency in this art.
Yeah.
Just like every other art, you cannot give me another example, whether it's music or comedy or writing, where you don't have to put, or graphic design, for instance. Yeah. You have moments of brilliance that happen throughout that time period, that long stretch of time before you can say confidently that you are proficient in this at an expert level.
Right.
And that's good because that demonstrates talent. It demonstrates the potential. But that to do that consistently, time over time, it takes a long stretch.
Right.
And that's okay because it's the same for everybody.
Right. That's the other parallel I would have to comedy as a performing art, is saying when I said I decided, this is going to be a pursuit of a career.
Yeah.
I was like, I got a 10-year plan. And it's like I kind of like went into, so now that's like the first like really like
the 10-year plan. I like the 10-year plan.
That's so like I'm comfortably in that 10-year plan, and I've like, when you look at it in that sense and that span of time, I have progressed like immensely.
Sure.
Whether like as a person and as somebody who is pursuing this and hasn't stopped. Like it shows you that like when you really commit to something, you can. It doesn't mean that you have to be 100% committed 100% of the time.
Who can be?
Right. You just have to make that 100% commitment to that agreement.
Yeah.
Give yourself time to work at it. It
Yeah.
takes time to get good at anything.
I agree.
And really, to be honest with you, a lot of things start out as fucking hobbies.
Right.
Most things are just fucking hobbies.
Yeah.
That you say like, well, I could probably like. I am somebody who is like. There's a lot of this that I'm like, is he just talking? Is this like Jeff talking right just to me? Because I'm like, I don't feel like I overdo it, but maybe. I mean, I do train a lot, but like I like it.
Yeah.
But it's also like I don't feel like I'm too tired, but sometimes I am, and then I stay home. But I feel bad. I don't know. Like, should I not feel bad? I'm sorry for feeling bad.
Should I feel bad?
I'm sorry, Jeff. But it's a thing that I have all of these pursuits all going, so I kind of have these like energy bars for like meaning in the sense of like a video game where I'm like running out of energy for stand up. I like, and then I find like a really good bit that I like, and then I'm like, oh, I'm way more inspired with this. I can ease up on this a little bit, or I can ease off, but holding myself accountable for any of these things are it's not only like going back to our conversation of recognition of stripes or belts or anything like that, is when I get offered a show or I get somebody brings up a competition, like I want that's me personally. Jiu-jitsu is that thing that even though I'm kind of pursuing these other aspects, podcasting, comedy, as career paths, jiu-jitsu is kind of a parallel to those, but it's still something that I want to have that recognition of like that of like being
and I think
you don't get
good
offered thing. Competitions, I don't think really for jiu-jitsu, do you?
Sometimes you do,
like kumites,
like
somebody hands me a
super
scroll
fights.
And I go like, what?
Yeah, like super fights.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay,
you have invitational onlys.
Yeah, and that's
you have
a goal.
ADCC,
but that's a personal goal. Like that's my thing that I'm doing for myself. So So when you say like this thing of like you can take time, I feel like you're going like, Pat, sometimes you can just take time off. You don't have to go 2 days a week.
No. What I'm saying is recognize, like, and trust me. I mean, I live it too, guys. I mean, jiu-jitsu isn't really a hobby for me. It's not a job either because I don't make any money at it. I'm not pursuing it as a career.
We're in a limbo.
Yeah. But so what does it mean for me? Because if I train between 5 and 6 days a week, sometimes a couple times a day, like what does that mean? And what I'm trying to say is that don't just keep it doesn't mean take a break from jiu-jitsu, like you don't go into the gym and train. What I'm saying is that make sure that you're taking time to do other things. Or remember the other things that you do, like whether it's spend time with your family, whether it's another pursuit or hobby that you're into, or things that you want to check out, is do those things. And the reason that you should do them is because it'll make you a more well-rounded fighter.
So you're saying I should paint?
You should paint. Yes.
I totally get it now. No,
that was it. That was the whole thing.
To know, like, to truly know when you're humbled, I feel like is when to know when to. It's taught in jiu-jitsu. I learned a lot. Like I told you how many parallels I've had even to comedy.
Yeah, and I know where you're going with this. Go ahead.
Yeah, but like you like Preach. Knowing when to tap. You know what I mean? When to give up. When to not to give up, but when to when is it okay to stop, and when you should push yourself.
Right.
Because that's something that I've talked to Dominique about with her careers, her career paths, or her choices in creative outlets or anything like that.
Sure.
I've had these conversations about jiu-jitsu of like you know when you should tap sometimes, because really there's sometimes where you're like you could have fought that and you can see it sometimes. Sure. And sometimes that's why an outside perspective helps, and I like that, but I've definitely seen the parallels of like when is it okay to like take a day off, and when is it okay, when should you be pushing yourself? Right,
exactly. And that only happens over time.
Right.
You get better and better at gauging that, and sometimes you fuck it up and make the wrong choice, and then you live with a lifelong injury. but most of the time, it just takes time, and you figure this shit out. But the interesting parallel that you just brought up is that we often, and we do this specifically with this podcast, is when we look at like the life lessons that you've learned in jiu-jitsu, and you're like, oh, it can apply to all these other things in my life. But remember that all the other things in your life can also be applied to jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your pursuit, because jiu-jitsu is multidimensional.
Right.
And what happens when you become solely focused on one thing is that those dimensions start to close in, and it becomes a one-dimensional thing, and you're stuck in this path. And this is, I think, one of the reasons it leads to burnout. Is because it's square pegs and round holes, man. You're just beating your head against this wall trying to make this thing work, and it's not going to work. It's just time to move on to something else and leave it alone for a little while.
Yeah.
I can't tell you specifically how many techniques that I've been shown over the years that just didn't make sense in my head, and I could do them in a drill, but I couldn't see how they applied in a live roll until years later, and I'm shown it again, and I'm like, oh, of course, that makes perfect sense.
Oh, when they come in like this.
Yeah, I just wasn't ready for that. I wasn't, my body and my brain wasn't ready to receive that message. But if I had just applied that knowledge and beat my head against that wall for so long, my assumption would have just been that I suck at jiu-jitsu and I can't figure this out. But that's not what it was.
Yeah.
But you had to leave it.
When I'm doing jiu-jitsu, I'm not thinking about
that's what's great
anything
about it.
else,
yeah,
right?
Because that's what's brilliant about it, right? you can't think of anything else,
right? Yeah, you can't. You genuinely can, and it's nice that. But also, like you can create those distractions if you're giving 100% to everything in your life. Like you can also add more things that help you to relieve the stresses of the other things.
Yeah, of course.
Work is a distraction from your real life. Like you'd love to just be home, sitting at, with your kitty cats, farting.
Okay.
Is that too specific?
No.
Drinking coffee out of the Trogs mug.
But also, it's okay for you to say, okay, today at the gym, like maybe you're not at 100%. You're not but you can say, I'm just going to go in and be a good training partner tonight.
Yeah.
And mission fucking accomplished.
Right.
You served a very specific and important purpose for somebody else that day. Had nothing to do with your jiu-jitsu specifically, although it may have later on, like it has ramifications where you're like, whatever, that light bulb moment or whatever. But it's okay for you guys to just say, today, I'm just going to go be a good training partner.
Right.
I'm not worried about my game or trying to improve, like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying is like that's the distraction part that I was talking about. Is if you're working on just jiu-jitsu 24/7, no matter what. And then it's going to seem like you're progressing so fucking slowly,
right?
And you're not going to, you can micromanage that down to I'm going to work on just arm bars, and then you're going to be like, my arm bar sucks,
exactly,
my arm bar sucks, and then you're going to get discouraged.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But if you have those other things going on, then you can say like. It's almost I can't think it's the thing where like if you as soon as you stop working on something or you start doing a mindless task to help with a creative thing like you start washing the dishes and you're like, oh fuck yeah, if I just do that,
that's where my best ideas come from,
right? Or you're in the shower or something like that. Like a lot of times those thoughts they happen when you're doing something fucking else.
Exactly, and that's my point. Because with jiu-jitsu, that doesn't happen. You don't have those thoughts while you're doing jiu-jitsu because the only thing you're fucking thinking about is jiu-jitsu.
Right.
So, if you want to have those eureka moments in jiu-jitsu, it's got to be somewhere else.
Oh, fuck. Damn it.
Yeah, because everybody that's ever
done...
it does.
Yes, I got mine in for the week.
Everybody that does jiu-jitsu knows this. Like, when you are rolling, like you have, or just drilling a technique, there's just no other way to think about other things.
Yeah.
You're thinking specifically about jiu-jitsu, and that in that time period that you're in there is all that you're thinking about. So what I'm saying to everybody is like, make sure that you're taking time to go do other things as well. And those things are just as important to your jiu-jitsu as actually training jiu-jitsu.
We did it.
Solidarity, my brother.
See? I do get it. It was like, wait, I feel like I'm getting it.
Yeah.
I'm getting it, Jeff.
It happened.
See, this is when I tell you that you're a great teacher. Do you believe me?
No.
Do you believe me now?
No.
Oh, fuck.
But I try.
No, you're just a slow learner, Pat.
Yeah.
I mean, but how many times have I had that? Have you even like? There'd be some times where you're rolling and you're like, oh, fuck. And you just kind of slip into a class move from a different day.
Yeah.
Or something you've been taught even a couple times that just never clicks.
True. It always happens at the time that you're not thinking about it, that you're just allowing your body to react to what you know is going to happen. like there's a whole subconscious level of jiu-jitsu that you've given, and we say this a lot to new students, and you've been doing jiu-jitsu long enough that you know how this works, is that we'll tell them in the beginning, like, there's going to be a lot thrown at you. Nobody expects you to remember any of this stuff, right? Like, try and just focus on one of those fundamentals, whether it's position or posture or some grips or whatever, and just allow that to percolate, like, plant that seed, and allow it to grow.
Legitimately does sink in.
Yeah,
it really does. Like, I can if it's sinking in with me, I guarantee you, it'll sink in with you.
One of our other students, Kathy, and I were talking about that same fucking thing this morning. Yeah. Like just trust the process.
Yeah,
it will connect.
Right. Yeah, and if you're getting discouraged, maybe it's time to get some of those things to click. You should just take some time off, watch some class videos.
Go back to one of your other hobbies that you've abandoned for jiu-jitsu, to like remember that, like, you are this multidimensional person. You have a lot to bring to the table in terms of, like, what you're doing outside of the gym also influences what happens inside the gym.
This is a really great point that I realized too, I think when you start out, you expect everybody to like you because of your jiu-jitsu knowledge. Most people, I like most of the people in the gym I like is not just because of how they roll. It's not because of the gis that they buy or the fucking anything like that. It's the fact that, like, they're cool to hang out with. They would be cool to hang out with outside of jiu-jitsu.
They're interesting people.
They're interesting people that have interesting. It's like, when I think of Kathy, when you said Kathy, I'm not thinking like, oh yeah, the last time I rolled with Kathy. No, I think of, like, having a lovely conversation with Kathy.
Right.
Same thing with,
because they're always interesting.
It's so cool that these cool people also do jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
That's why you need to take time off, because I don't like you if you're just coming in here, fucking arm bars, fucking triangles, fucking, like, all that. I'm going to be like, yeah. But, like, I mean, we're already at jiu-jitsu class. Right. We don't have to talk about jiu-jitsu too.
Yeah, because there's 100% chance that we're going to talk about jiu-jitsu at jiu-jitsu class, right?
For at least half of the class.
Right, at least half of it. That's exactly right. So, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm happy to talk about jiu-jitsu outside of class. Like, love jiu-jitsu, like, no problem. But you're exactly right. It's so cool to see that these are people that you actually like.
Yeah.
You enjoy that because they have all these other things that make them interesting. And they happen to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It's the whole fucking point of this episode.
That's a coincidence.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, is, like, the fact that the most of the ways I would explain Muskin, Chris, or any, like, genuinely, two people that I've met. Another person I met in MMA class that's also from Florida, all basically the general same area. So when I make references, like, it's like, that's how I know them. It's not like by their fucking jab or by their, like, anything. Like, it's just so cool that happens to be a person that I knew, grew up in the same area. Yeah, we're also have a common interest. What else are we interested in? This is cool. You know what I mean? Like,
cool.
So it kind of just opens a door to, like, it's different from, like, a work friend.
Work friends suck.
They really do. A lot of times. I still have a work friend that have only one, I think, that I met through work that I still talk to on somewhat of a regular basis.
Me too. I only have one.
But it's like, I feel more stuck with him than I do, like, honored by his friendship. It's the fact that, burdened by him. We just kind of had a shared trauma, really. Yeah. That was all. Yeah. So it's like it's basically it's having this shared common interest that's just cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a meeting place, as far as and it's a cool place that if you're into it for, like, I want to compete on a different level, I want to do all this stuff, or you want to we can all still go there too. Like, when you leave here, if you're still thinking about jiu-jitsu, that's cool, but when we're here, we're talking about hot dogs. We're talking about music. We're talking about movies that we've seen.
Hell yeah, man.
You know what I mean? We're talking about, me and Rick are planning hikes and shit like that. Like, Rick's fucking doing burpees and farmer carries and shit like that after an hour class. You know what I mean? Like, he's immediately not doing jiu-jitsu after jiu-jitsu.
He's a psycho.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know. Yeah, exactly.
It's like just a safe place to meet cool people.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Oh, it's a safe place, but, you know. It's not really a safe place. A lot of those people
it's not really
can fucking kill you.
But it's totally true. And I think that's, to wrap up our topic for today, like, that's absolutely true. You've got this you have this opportunity. Okay, first and foremost is remember this, is that like whenever you're feeling burnout about this, okay, it's probably because you're spending way too much time focusing on jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
This stuff will happen over time as long as you remain consistent. Pat and I are not telling you to just get off the mat, although if you need time off the mat, take time off the mat.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. Like you'll be fine. Just don't take too much time because then you start to reacclimate to not going to jiu-jitsu. Go to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, once you start like sleeping in, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is awesome.
Yeah,
You're
kind of like
shut
this.
up.
No, it's not
No,
awesome.
You got to shut that voice up.
Shut it down. That's right. You know, it's. I'm not saying take time off the mat. I'm just saying don't ignore all the other things that make you you. You know, go back to those things, especially if you've been neglecting them. You know, remember that those things, those experiences will improve your jiu-jitsu. And also, like, yeah, if you're the type of person, remember that like all those, and that's probably the end of this. I'll tell you this is that it is interesting for us to say, you know, we look at our training partners every day as either training partners or competition or combinations of both. But remember that these are dynamic human beings that have a bunch of other shit that they're probably fucking amazing at, or have great stories to tell, or whatever.
Cool fucking jobs.
Yeah,
Lots
good, cool
of cool
jobs.
fucking.
Yeah.
Ask somebody about their job, dude.
Yeah.
Like seriously,
Yeah.
roll with somebody
Yeah.
and ask them what they do.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be like, really?
Yeah, really?
What the fuck?
I had no idea.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's.
I had no idea
legitimately
you were a
interesting.
fluffer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's true. So just, take that time and
Yeah, dude.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah. Do it for yourself, man, because it'll
Yeah.
improve your jiu-jitsu.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
What's on your turntable, Jeff?
Great question, Pat. Thank you for asking. What's on my turntable this week is Mr. Liff. Have you ever listened to Mr. Liff?
Mr. Liff,
Mr. Liff.
L-I-F.
It's Mr.
Mister, like
L-I-F.
like this.
No, Mr. The
Like-
Mr.
Got it.
L-I-F. Mr. Liff.
Got it.
Okay, listen to Mr. Liff. He's a Boston rapper.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Jeffrey Haynes is his real name. Okay, so Mr. Liff, like you can't pick a bad record. So I can't, but I will call out I Phantom as like this record changed my life, and I'm going to tell you why. When I got introduced to this record, it was from a friend of mine during a time where like I was in really bad shape, like hard time life-wise, financially, like things were falling apart. And he's like, you need to listen to this record. And it's a concept record, so it tells a story.
I love concept records,
from
dude.
beginning to end, it tells this
What do
whole
we got?
story. Oh, it's great.
See this? You see me right now?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah, you're ready. You need to listen to this.
Lay it on me.
I Phantom. I'm not going to tell you the whole
Oh,
concept.
no.
You got to listen to it.
All right. Is it something that would do with Phantom of the Opera?
Nope.
Oh, I thought it was like some kind of iPhone Phantom
Look,
of the
it
Opera.
starts with dreams and it ends with the destruction of the whole planet.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
no
it's-
spoilers.
Yeah,
Jeez.
no spoilers. It's fucking great the whole way through. But anyway, Mr. Liff, like very, very conscious rapper. Okay, and his work is just so. How do I put it? Look, like there's things about lyricists that, like, to me, it's poetry, you know, and the way that they're able to paint a picture. And each rapper that I enjoy has a different skill set, you know, different, you know, level thing. But Mr. Liff's got this thing where it's very, very socially conscious, but it's not degrading in any way.
Okay.
He's not trying to alienate you because you think a certain way.
Yeah. He's not criticizing.
He's not
just-
criticizing.
yeah.
He's introducing ideas and concepts that like you might not have like thought about. In the meanwhile, he's also showing you what a fucking dope rapper he is.
Yeah.
So like,
I love that.
yeah. So anyway, I Phantom. I mean, listen to anything from Mr. Liff out of Boston,
I'm
Massachusetts.
gonna listen to that. Yeah, I think I got a big cleaning day coming up either today or tomorrow.
Listen
so I'm
to
gonna
it,
have
man. Enjoy it, man.
Yeah.
Like just the work is just incredible. And if you have to pick a record, go ahead and listen to I Phantom from start to finish.
Yeah.
Which, again, I don't know if anybody out there in podcasting land remembers records, but it used to be that we used to select out of a full-length record how it was going to flow from first track to last track, since we don't listen to records anymore.
Yeah. No, I was just
But
thinking
this
of
one's
that.
a concept record, so listen to it from start to finish.
That thing of like that's when I suggest or when I give a recommendation of a record or an album.
Yeah.
Let's say if I'm saying the album, I mean for you to sit down, not like, you know, turn it on and listen. Don't stop. Don't skip. if anything, you
Yeah.
can go back to start, back
Yeah,
over.
yeah, that's okay. Yeah, yeah.
But you can't.
Don't skip tracks.
No, because
Right.
that's you gotta.
Even if it's not your favorite track, don't skip it.
They laid this out. They're telling you this story.
Yeah.
They painted this picture for you.
That's right.
And they want you. This is how they wanted it laid out to you.
I agree.
This is how because if you put it on random, if it's a playlist, I'll put it on random. But if it's an album, I never put it on random because I can't have the last song because first of all,
don't put the last song. Yeah, in the
what the
middle of
fuck?
the record.
Yeah.
Oh man, enders are the best.
There's
aren't they?
sometimes, because that's the finale. That's the big.
Yes,
ending.
Pat. I got Knuckles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know
fuck
what I
yeah,
mean?
man. You got to have the ender, man.
They did that on purpose, guys. Like
Yes.
the producer, said, "This is how I want you to be introduced to these new musics." Brought to you by this wonderful band that we all love.
That we all love.
So fucking listen to it in order,
That's
okay?
right.
Listen to Jeff and me. God damn it,
In order.
please.
Hey, listen, I want to say one other thing about Mr. Liff and I Phantom, that
Yeah.
record, and this is a personal note that I'm going to air on the podcast for everybody else, and I don't mean to drag your wife into this, but I understand that there's some struggles for and she's on the air too. She does her own podcast,
Yeah.
so this shit's going to come out anyway.
Trauma Hood,
Just,
shout out.
yeah. Shout out to Trauma Hood.
Yeah.
But I know she's struggling out with work, but the song that I want her to listen to is called Live from the Plantation.
Live from the plantation.
Yep. It'll change her entire life.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
how could you fucking deny that?
And for everybody out there that's struggling with your work and where you belong in all of this, listen to Live from the Plantation by Mr. Liff.
I like
And
that.
it will I guarantee you, I would put everything that I have on that bet that it will
All
change
28 beers.
That's all 28 beers I have left. That song will change your life. Anyway, what's on your turntable, my man?
I don't know if you're familiar with this artist whatsoever, but yesterday,
Oftentimes I'm not, because
Yeah.
you're you got
Well,
the best ones.
this one's a little bit more well known, and I think
It's Elton John, isn't it?
no, close. It's Norm Macdonald.
Oh, Norm.
Yeah. Norm Macdonald.
R.I.P. Norm.
From SNL, like him. So sadly, this sucks because a lot of these people are dead.
Yes.
But like Chris Farley, Phil Hartman was huge influence and somebody I loved as a kid.
Gotcha.
Norm Macdonald was another one. So Norm Macdonald passing away. It was like I want to say like I appreciate dry humor, but like as far as like if you like Stephen Wright, if you're not familiar with Norm Macdonald, first of all, I think you are. Like no matter what, I think you are.
I think most people are.
He is.
Yeah.
He was anything from like the dog from Dr. Dolittle. So maybe you watched it when you were a kid.
Right.
He was the funny comic old
Sure,
dog.
right, yeah.
That was as family friendly as he got.
Yeah, that was it.
And the fact that he, like when he never did what you expected. Like I
Right.
appreciated that.
Which was steeped in controversy. I loved it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, like was it was like it was a more approachable Andy Kaufman character, but it wasn't a character. It
Well, that's because
he
right.
was who
Yeah,
was
yeah.
he was.
Yeah, because he wasn't steeped in mystery like Andy Kaufman was.
Right.
He was,
he was
he was
very
Norm Macdonald. Right.
prolific. He was there's not a thing that he's put out that you won't like. I'm putting my stamp of approval.
There
Like,
you
when you
go.
said that, when you were saying
Yeah.
that, like
100% commitment on this.
it's I believe they just talked about it on the most recent episode of Proper Ebonics about parasocial relationships. I think that's what we were talking about as well.
Yeah.
This
Right,
having
exactly.
this connection to a stranger, and I don't think that he's not mine. Norm Macdonald is like Elvis in comedy.
Sure, right.
Nobody can.
So
say
he's not
that's-
really dead?
Yes, that's what I'm hoping. You know what I mean? Because he was always somebody that was like, yeah, maybe I'll get to work with him, or just to say like. Have him or Don Rickles would be another one. Man,
Sure.
I hope he can fucking make fun of my wife one day.
Yeah.
You know, like
Just once.
or me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say either his album of skits, recorded bits that he's done called Ridiculous, which is hilarious. There's some of my favorites. He has like Will Ferrell on there. Tim Meadows is another one that I don't know. It's just pure comedy.
Is that the record that's got the song about manhole covers?
Yes.
Manhole.
Yeah.
Dude, I fucking
The
love
country
that.
singer?
Yeah, the country
Yes.
singer. Dude,
Yes,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that. I love it.
So that one or his straight comedy album, Me Doing Stand Up.
Okay.
Which is it's flawless. Look, YouTube Norm Macdonald. Just in anything on your turntable. Throw anything Norm Macdonald on your turntable.
That's what I wanted to say was
Yeah.
was interesting for a lot of some, maybe not a lot, but some of our podcast listeners understand that comedians make albums. That's like their first foray into like the
that's the first step.
Yeah, that's the first step is making records.
Yeah. I was actually planning on doing one in 2019 or 2020. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was like October of
dude, you
shutdown.
you got to do it, man. You got to do a record. Anyway, let me ask you this question then. What the hell do I do with all my Bill Cosby records?
I mean, hold on to them. I don't know. I mean, like, it's one of those things where you're like, could be. I don't know if that'll turn into like Nazi memorabilia, where you're like, you'll get in trouble for having it. Like, you can't buy it, but like if you have it already, I guess you can hold on to it.
I'm like, I want to burn it, but I'm not sure if I should.
Might
Like,
be worth
listen,
money.
it was bequeathed to me by my late father. I mean, I didn't go out and purchase them. So
Did he know?
He did. Let me tell you what, like that.
He was probably bummed out, huh?
He was really bummed out. Yeah, he was like, "What a fucking asshole." And this is a guy that, like, I mean, Bill, I'm sorry to tell you this, but this guy bought all your records. He thought you were the greatest.
Yeah. You were.
It was one of those.
Really
It was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those idol things where he just like it devastated him.
And honestly, I'm very happy that nothing like that happened to Norm Macdonald.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
no doubt. Yeah,
he's just genuinely just the guy you thought he was. And then when he dies, everybody's like, "Yeah, he was the guy everyone thought he was."
Yeah, dude, I love
He was
that
awesome.
shit.
Yeah,
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so shout out to
Shout
Norm
out to Norm
Macdonald.
Macdonald.
Rest in peace. Fucking listen to anything he's done. Watch anything he's done.
Sure.
It is flawlessly, fearlessly hilarious. But enough about that dead old coot.
Yeah.
You know what he wasn't?
What?
He wasn't a black belt.
Black belt.
Ask a black belt.
Okay, Pat, what do you got for me today?
All right, so this one is from Sarah. What's your biggest fear? That's a fucking deep ass question, right?
That is, and it's interesting because I wonder if it's like in context to what, jiu-jitsu or just in general.
Let's say this in life.
So this is a great question, Sarah, and it maybe gave me pause. The okay, first and foremost is this, and again, a vulnerable moment because when we were asking a black belt, we give you the truth.
Yeah.
Is I spend most of my life, saying things like I'm not afraid of anything. The truth is I'm afraid of everything. I mean, everything gives me some pause, some like concern,
If you're not,
some
you're
worry.
crazy. Honestly, if you're not
so.
scared of like everything, you're kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, and I finally like it. I don't know, it was years ago or whatever. Admitted this to my wife, and she said, "You know what that means?" And I'm like, "What's that?" And she's like, "That means you're brave. That means," and that made me feel a lot better, like because you do it anyway. It's okay to be afraid of things when you're afraid of them, but you do them anyway. That makes you brave. But the truth is, the thing that I fear the most is losing my mind. So whether that's through dementia or Alzheimer's, I got to be honest with you. I have a significant fear of at some point not being able to recognize when.
That's Like so. Wait. So are you saying you have you recognize like when you're too far gone?
Yeah. Well, that's just it. Like
you want to have that one last good day.
Yeah.
You want to know when it is.
That's right. So as we know. God damn it, Pat.
He's being vulnerable, you asshole.
Yeah, I know. I mean, why are you ruining it? No, don't start rubbing your face on it. You're going to get sprayed. I know it's going to happen. Stanley.
I didn't do it.
Stanley.
I just showed it to him. I didn't even have my finger on the trigger.
It was.
Don't call me. Don't at me, Peter.
So we, as we understand more about, these types of illnesses or the brain, your brain is like deteriorating. You do recognize that you have Alzheimer's, and to the point that you don't. But I mean, in the beginning, like it's horrifying to know that you've got a degenerative brain disease, that you're going to start forgetting who you are and all the things and people that you love. Like the one thing that keeps me happy every day, it's a renewable resource outside of jerking off and sex, is this.
Shout out to both of those.
Yeah, shout out to both of those. Is like my memories, like the things that I think about all the time and look forward to or remember or whatever, and the idea that I wouldn't have those abilities anymore.
That's what I count on a
Yeah.
lot of times
Yeah.
is my memories.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
If I ever throw a T-shirt away that I really liked, or I'm like, I just don't wear it
Yeah,
anymore.
I know.
I'm like, no, I can remember. I loved that time without that T-shirt.
Exactly.
Does
Yeah.
it bring me joy? I don't know. Throw it away.
Throw it out.
Or donate it,
Just
or
taking up room in my my dresser.
keep it for that imaginary quilt your wife keeps saying she's gonna make. You know what I mean? It's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen.
It's never
We all
gonna
know that.
happen.
But
It's
that's
not.
okay.
That's okay too.
Okay.
That's right. That's
No,
right. That's
everything ends, Jeff. But
Yeah,
I
everything
understand. That I can.
Yeah.
So do you have that in the does Alzheimer's or brain? Or
No,
dementia or
no.
anything?
Thankfully, no. It's not something. But it's just a concern of mine that I just don't ever want to see my mental capacity deteriorate to the point where I'm not able to, recognize where I'm at, who the people I'm with. Like those are those belong to me, motherfucker, and you can't have them.
Yeah.
And that's so, Sarah, to answer your question, if there was something that I feared, it would be getting older and losing that ability to, remember.
So on the more lighter side,
On a lighter note,
this one has a video or a visual component with it.
Perfect.
And this is coming straight from Manny. He asks simply, could you, or he says you, he's referring to you, but it says, could he beat me wearing this? He's talking about the clothes I'm assuming he's wearing. He's actually more referring to the sweater that he's wearing.
I see it.
Which is another comic in the area's sweater known as Karen. It was a lady sweater.
Okay, so I'm going to have to tell you, Manny, the answer is no.
Ooh.
I would say I would not be able to beat you while wearing that. Instead, we would beeline it to the next bar and I'd buy you a drink.
Well, see that, Manny?
That's right.
You get off, but you could cross dress and you get a free beer, courtesy
I'm just
of this
saying,
black belt right here.
I'm just saying. And then let's go skate, man.
Honest, yeah. Make some new memories that no one's fucking getting.
That's right.
God
You
damn
can't have it.
You can't fucking have it. I love that. The fact these are my motherfucking memories. I've never heard somebody refer to it like that as being so protective in that way. But I respect that. I
thanks, man.
truly
Yeah.
do, because that's a fear I think that a lot of people can empathize with.
Yeah.
And that's it was good. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You're welcome.
Pussy. So
Just call him like I see him. That's all. I'm just.
I want to ask you, do you have anything in particular that coming up that you got to promote?
Joe and I have a show. Ben the Rails has a show in October.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, we do, and we are, and I can't remember off the top of my head what date it is. It's in the middle of October, so it's the 15th.
Oh, perfect.
October 15th. We are playing. We're playing at 0 Day Brewery in Harrisburg.
I love that place.
So
shout out to Jess and the crew.
It'll be the first live show we've played in like 2 years, so because of the pandemic.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
And so come out and watch the show, enjoy, drink some good beers. It's a good group of people over there at 0 Day usually. At least the crew that runs the joint's super fucking badass. So
10 days before that, on October 5th,
okay,
your boy, I just found out yesterday or the day before that I will be featuring at the Harrisburg Comedy Zone.
No shit.
October 5th, I'll be doing a 25 to 30-minute set.
Perfect.
On a wonderful showcase put together by fellow comics in the area, including Manny Santiago from earlier.
Great.
It's basically just a showcase of some local comics. So
terrific.
Come out to the Harrisburg Comedy Zone.
I'll be there.
October 5th. It's a Tuesday evening. It's going to be an earlier show. So don't worry, you're not going to be out too late. The latest you'll be out like 9:30.
So you can still get up and go to 6 a.m. class the next morning.
Yeah, you obsessive motherfuckers. So check out that show. And then also follow me, Baby Mermaid Productions on Instagram, the YouTube channel for all the shows and everything like that.
That's where you find the 6 a.m. podcast and a variety of other great shows that is created by Pat here as a producer and Baby Mermaid Productions, man.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, let's take some time off.
Yeah, let's take some time off.
Let's take some time.
Also, Kyle Cooler can eat a dick.
Oh, it smells like he did.
Dude, I hope you got that.